about this total approach to the student athlete, to the coach, to this whole process, we have to see that we are doing the most important work in the world because we are developing the human being who happens to be a student athlete, or happens to be an athlete, or happens to be just a normal everyday person as we go through it. The people that are in this room right now are dedicated to the development of people. One way, shape, or form. Either your own development, developing young people, working for a living, to build people, to bring up sons, to be a coach. And let me tell you, the word coach is universal because it's how we affect others. And when I talk about the funnel effect and the fountain effect, I tell these guys every single day, they have one tool. This is my greatest tool of my life, is this simple little cone. And if you're a coach, you know that every 40 starts with that, every drill starts with that, everything where they start, where they finish, this is representative of our transition. This is a representation of getting up in the morning, getting in the shower, going to class. How are you getting from cone to cone to cone as a person? What is your thought process on the way? We have to identify that. We have to define it. We have to find out how it was developed, and then we have to deploy the potential in that person. Are their habits taking away from or delivering their potential? Because we only have it again. How is it defined? By time. That is the only true measure of what we have to do on this planet, is what do we do in the time that we have. If you don't own your time, somebody else owns your time. And that's defined in two ways in my life that I found out. And the people that are successful have what I call the internal standard. The internal standard. What is it about a person? That internal standard. And what does that internal standard go against every single day? External expectation. Whether it's from a coach, whether it's from a parent. Are you simply a delivery mechanism of somebody else's thoughts about your life? Well, I can tell you if you are or not, because it's done what? In our habits, in our practice, in our transition, in what we think about. This is not esoteric stuff. This is very practical way of approaching the student athlete and people in general. So as we look at this, and we start to address the people that we're lucky enough to coach, that we're lucky enough to develop. I got an English background and I get very verbose, and I apologize for that. I try to keep it as coach and straightforward as possible. But the best thing I've ever learned in my life is the idea of, you got to look at every single person as somebody that is about to blossom, is about to develop. But they can't always do it on their own. So we have to interject, because Manziel's affected my life. For you to be here tonight is a very big thing for me. You're affecting my nephew's life. That's huge. These young people up here affect mine every single day. My relationship with Ben and his workers and his wife, this is something that's a total, this is total development. Because no matter what, if you took one thing out of here tonight, as a professional trainer, as a student athlete, as a parent, as a coach, as a business partner, we take one thing out of here tonight. I don't care if it was a sparse group. You take one thing out of here tonight, you better understand that we're either funnels in this world or we're fountains. Are we feeding it or are we taking from it? And that's how this approach that Ben and I are taking is going to change people, because it already has. It's done it. I've done it for 20 years. I never knew how. I never knew why. I've worked with the scientists now. I found the definitions. But it's still down to people and what we're doing and what we're not doing. So today we have the plan, but understand that we're all unique under the world. Because I ask one person every question, every single day I'll ask one person, who took your first breath when you were born? And everybody will say, I did. Everybody. But then I'll ask the second question, how many of those breaths since then have you taken for granted? And the scary response, almost 100%, is all of them, if not most. And on that, I want to thank you very much for coming out here tonight and this is our very first opportunity for this, and we're going to continue to develop this. every month to get into much deeper, comprehensive stuff. Tonight was just kind of going over the parameters of what we're going to be providing. And again, we want to encourage you to bring in young people. If we know well in advance that you're going to bring in a team, we will cater this entire thing to specific youth and groups. If we know we've got teenagers, if we know we've got college athletes, if we know we got trainers, we're going to do this because we understand that there's three things as a coach I have to know. One, each and every one of us is unique under the world. Two, we all experience the world in different ways. And three, if I'm going to call myself a developer of a human being, I better be able to be all things to all people. And that is exactly what we're trying to do with this system. It may be very, very, very big in scope, but I promise you, it's very, very personal in nature. So thanks again, and I hope you got something out of this occasion tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. More pizza. No. Ben's like, no. How you guys doing?
Just gotta do 10 push-ups at the beach.
Nick Scott.
Hi, Aaron. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for being here.
How many slides did you get out?
Turn this on.